Hi guys, Jason Goforth here with Superior Custom Designs. We're an exclusive dealer of Polaris USA security surveillance equipment. Today I'm going to be doing an open box review and some product demonstration and some technical specification. Today what we're looking at is the PIP 3MP 360 dome. It is basically a 360 degree fisheye dome security camera. H.264 compression, infrared, P2P or peer-to-peer network protocol, duplex audio. It's ONVIF 2.3, and it does have local onboard SD card. It does support PoE. As you can see right here from the label, it does come with the label indicating its default IP, username, password, and the QR code for setting up your peer-to-peer protocol. So being able to see the camera through like a smartphone. So anyway guys, I'm going to go ahead and just look at the box. It's a nice box, comes pretty well packaged. What we're going to go ahead and do now is just take a quick peek inside. You see you get your software, you get some paperwork that also gives you your pinouts for your cables if you happen to need that. It shows you a little bit of your network connection settings, how to interface the camera, and some of the security settings that sometimes you have to tweak in your Internet Explorer browser in order to bypass the ActiveX protection. So anyway, let's just go ahead and dive right into the camera and take a peek at what we got. You can see that it comes bubble wrapped. So right off the bat, what we see here is, to me, it looks like a typical household smoke detector. Here's your fisheye lens in the center. The casing itself is sort of self-contained. You don't need any other gang boxes or box to receive this. Now it is not a true outdoor watertight device. It's rated IP50, which basically means it's partially protected from dust ingress, basically meaning dust is going to get into some of these little holes. So I would recommend using this particular product in an indoor setting. In a warehouse facility or in a manufacturing facility, if it's far enough away, you'll probably be okay. Just keep an eye on it. You might have to get some compressed air and blow it out. But as you can see, it's a very nice product. These right here are your infrareds. There's 3 of them that help illuminate it in 3 different directions. These are your screw holes for mounting. Again, it can be wall mounted, table mounted, or mounted from the ceiling. It has conveniently located its onboard SD receiver here, so standard SD card, it will receive that, and you will hear that little click, so it's mounted, and then you basically just seal it back up with the rubber gasket. If you have a micro SD card, you can also use that. If you don't have one already, I would probably recommend getting one and having it in your bag of tricks. But this is basically an SD card adapter. Your micro SD would go in this little slot here, and it would adapt it to the standard SD size, which would then allow you to use a micro SD in this SD slot. Again, on the back, gives you the model number, the default IP, the username and password, and your QR code for setting up the peer-to-peer protocol for your smartphone or even a tablet. So anyway, here's a short little 6-inch pigtail. It has your female Cat 6 or Cat 5 receiver. It has your 12-volt female receiver, and they do provide you with a 12-volt adapter, so this will step down your house line voltage to 12 volts at probably about 1 amp. This device is rated at 900 milliamps, so 1 amp is more than sufficient. And if you plug that in there, you can see that gives you your 12 volt. Now if you're doing power over Ethernet, then all you'll need is your 1 cable, and then this is also another inlet for if you want to insert some secondary microphone. Anyway guys, I'm going to go ahead and get this thing plugged up, loaded onto my NVR, and I'll be right back to show you some of its cool dewarping features. The web interface directly into the camera. And again, if you remember from earlier, you get the default IP address from the box, but then what I did was reprogram this to an IP scheme for my local network. So 192.168.1.123 was the DHCP that this camera received on my NVR, and then what you do is basically you'll get this login screen, and if you remember, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and login. And now what'll happen is it'll drop you into the fisheye view. So again, you can see that we're in the fisheye, and I'm just gonna try to show you some of the basics. The first thing is with a microphone, you can actually talk through the camera, and they can hear you at the camera. And when they talk at the camera, you hear them back at your PC, tablet, or phone. The main thing I wanted to show you, though, aside from, this is where you would come in to do most of the configuration. For example, you could set the frame rate, the resolution, continuous bit rate, variable bit rate, and toggle on and off the audio. And you can also manipulate the substream. So basically you have those controls inside here, as well as some of the network settings. If you wanted to do the DHCP, or go ahead and enter an IP scheme that works for your network. So basically it's pretty standard networking. Your name, the MAC address of the camera, which is hard coded into it, your IP address, your gateway, subnet mask, your DNS. So all your main configuration tools are inside that menu that you find right there on the right hand side of the web interface. Now, one of the cooler aspects of this camera is the dewarping. So you select your dewarp mode, which we have 102A, 3P, 4P, 1P, 1A, 2A, 4P, 10, 6P, 1A, 8P, 10. And just to give you a sense of what they do, I'm just going to select 103P, and voila. Now, here's the coolest part about this. So if you can see, after I dewarp this, what it does is it shows me my fisheye, and inside the fisheye I get these bars which allow me to manipulate each independent quadrant within a single camera. So for example, if I wanted to see this receptacle, I can do that, and then now I can grab the green one. I can rotate this. If I wanted to see maybe inventory on the shelf, and then the yellow one, which I think might be static in this case. Now there it is. Now say you want to see the worker at their desk, and there he is. So again, that's the 103P. Now I'm going to take you down to this one. This one's pretty cool, 8P10, and you see you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And here's the fisheye. Now inside the fisheye, again, you get these colored squares, which correspond to each quadrant or frame out here on the grid. And now what happens, I'll show you, is as I grab the red inside the fisheye, I can pick the area of the screen that I want it to render, and so on. You can go all the way around manipulating each vector, if you will. So again, you can see that I'm only about 5 foot off the ground, but there's the rest of my workshop area. And then you can see, from this screen down, you can see a little bit further to the right. So again, guys, you got brightness controls. You can turn the brightness down, crank it up. You can find your happy medium depending on your environmental conditions. You can set the contrast, your saturation, the hue, and even the sharpness. And all that's done right from the web interface. So with nothing extra, no extra software you have to purchase, you can de-warp this 360 degree fisheye dome camera. Extremely powerful, all in its own. If you just bought this one camera, you could cover a lot of area, and without having any other secondary or third-party software, you can de-warp